Test one, two, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. Thanks for dropping by and spending some time with me. I'm Bronze Dragon. This is the 123rd episode of the Saturday Morning Stand-Up. Yep, that's right, almost 3 years in a row of talking Splinterlands on Saturday morning. So thanks for dropping by. As always, I do appreciate you dropping by, watching my videos, dropping into the live stream. So please take a second and leave a like on the live stream so that pushes it out a little bit better to the YouTube algorithm. Know people that, hey, it might be worth watching this live stream. So, and obviously subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I do appreciate. Right up top, I want to give a shout out to the members of my channel. I turned this on, this membership feature here a while back, maybe 6 months back, and I've had some people supporting me. So I wanted to give them a shout out because it does help me keep the channel going. Of course, I've got Gathering the Magic, KGM Jam, the King of Queens, Jack Gamble, Andrew Bilham, DJ Dubstomp, Epicenter Gaming, Ashley Stanfield, Jason B Channel, Cerezy, Watch More, and Blind Mage from the North. So I appreciate your support for being members of the channel. Okay, let's jump into the chat and see what everybody's been up to. Well, let's lead off. What did I do this week? Well, I attempted to play some Frontier mode, not very successfully. I have a very limited amount of time to put my play time in, and I tried a few different times, and I played some matches, but I was not very successful at it. Most of what I did this week was centered around land, basically I'm in this constant evolution of trying to improve what I have staked out on land. So I did buy a card this week. It is not staked yet. I had bought, let's jump over to items. I posted this in X if you're, oh, I'm on the wrong channel or the wrong account. Let me log back into my main account. I had posted this over on X if you follow me over there. I don't do a whole lot of posts over there, but let's go into items. Reset beta. Yes, it was a beta card I bought, and it is, you know what? I've got 4 max frozen soldiers now, and you can see this is the one I just bought. It's not currently on land. I have to do my land claims later on, and I'm going to cycle in him to produce a little bit more grain. But they do have a fair amount of power assigned to them, 7,200. And the value's up. I bought mine for about 30 bucks yesterday or the day before, one of the two. But, you know, it's going up. I like to buy beta cards when I can. I'm still averaging out and comparing against gold foil Chaos Legions. But in some cases, I think the dollar to production power is a little bit better with beta because you get a 5 times multiplier on them. I always kind of look at the alpha as well because they get a 10 times multiplier, but the cost is always up there. So that's my major purchase this week, and he will be farming on land. But I did notice that now that'll be the 4th max copy of Frozen Soldier. Most of my lands are producing food or grain, and the majority of them are, you know, take for your bonuses, take either earth or water. So I do have a fair amount of water cards. Crypto Beavers in the house, good morning. Thanks for dropping by. Says, this week I've been playing Frontier mode to get as many entries as possible and try my luck at the very first draw. Didn't get any luck with the first conflict airdrop. I got one card. That was the... and that's the other thing we have to talk about. So I got one of the Xerix Emberglace, and it was just a standard foil. I was going to get one guaranteed. I didn't get any extra, so that's the one I got. And keep in mind here, in a little bit more than 2 days, get your wagons in order for the second airdrop to start, or conflict to start. And that will be for Zarin the Scorch. I have, of course, I'm going to be able to autofill and increase my. I'm getting 141,000 per hour, but I'll be getting a little bit more because that dragon I just got will be able to be cycled in on one of my wagons. I did have to repair one of the wagons, so I had to build a wagon kit, and I had the materials that I needed. I had to buy some stone because I don't have any stone producing land, but I was able to go ahead and get them up and running. So make sure your wagons are repaired, and if you need to, and everything's in order, because the next conflict starts in 2 days. But yeah, I did get the one, and of course the points you need to get a guaranteed are going to go up a little bit for this one. That's how these conflicts work. The guaranteed points slowly going up. They're trying to encourage you to buy more cards, buy more packs, and stake them, etc. Okay, Paul Taylor's in the house. Welcome, Paul. Thanks for dropping by. Gatherings here. Gathering Magic says good morning. Just got back from vacation and still playing Frontier. Excited for the raffle draws on Monday. Yeah, I would be if I could win any. I'm still, I haven't played a whole lot in Frontier, but the ones I did, just losses, loss, so. But I guess that's the learning process, right? It's just, I just don't have enough time to, play a lot anymore these days. So, Bananas is here. Welcome. Good morning. And Wibble's here with the big wee. Gathering says Frontier mode is tough. I win about 1 and 3 on average. Wibble says I've given up on modern. I shall be doing some wild. That's where the majority of my play is. Like I said, I've got my bot turned off now, but I use the Archmage bot. I have been for several years, just trying to get my best bang for my money because I just don't have time to sit down and play a lot. And I turn it off for these live streams. But you can see I turned it on this morning. I usually don't turn the bot on the first day of the season because it ends up being a lot of losses. And guess what? I turned it on this morning and lost. So I turned it back off so it doesn't interrupt us. But yeah, so I typically allow my account to be played in wild because I'm getting... it's using up a lot of my energy. One nice thing I found is that the Archmage bot now has a mode where you can switch on and it will play in survival mode if you want it to. Once it's used up all your energy in wild, then it can kick over to survival if you want to. Since the big change happened last week or two where... if you play in survival mode and your cards are on refresh, they get killed or whatever, then that doesn't transfer over to wild or modern. I did like that big change. So, Archmage has now implemented that system where you can turn that on and have both going on. So I usually set my Archmage bot to 1 play per hour. And then later on in the season, I kick it up to 2 to try to use up all my energy. But now, towards the mid-season, I will turn on the mixed version of that and allow it to play in survival mode as well. So, Lady Sharon's here. Welcome, Sharon. Says good morning. A smidge late this morning. What I did this week, I sold a gold Frontier card and other cards, added cards and DEC to my land. We'll be buying other cards as well. Nice. Yeah, that's been a hot topic. And I think one of the reasons why Frontier mode is so popular, because you can actually sell the cards now that you're earning. This was a big thing. Let's go back to market and buy cards. Reset and foundations cards. And the important thing now is to remember they made some announcements yesterday in Discord as to the changes. And one big thing is that this last week they came out with the change that Originally the Frontier cards that came, or the Foundation cards, I'm going to continue to mess up Foundation and Frontier. They're just too close. But the original ones that we earned by going through the campaign mode were not soulbound. And then I guess they saw that this was being abused by multiplayer or multi-accounts. And people were going through on many, many accounts doing the campaign and then just dumping those cards on the market. So what they did was they came in and they said, well, now if you go through and do the campaign, those cards you earn are going to be soulbound. And I put that a little bit in one of my videos earlier this week, because that's a key distinction, because those cards you get are not going to be able to be combined with the non-soulbound versions. Let me see if I can get that exact statement from Instigator up here. He made this statement in the developers thread, which I keep an eye on. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. It's not immediately coming back to me. When you want to find it, you can't find it. Oh, here we go. This was a statement from Royal Eagle. Okay. So if you, this is really, no, this is not what I wanted. That was a behind the scenes kind of statement on how things are going to work, but it is, okay. So that is what I was talking about. Basically, this statement is going to people who run different other apps that buy and sell cards and deal with the cards, but it really tells us what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, so we're talking about editions 15 and 16, which I take are the Frontier mode before the change to Soulbound and after. So edition 15 is for sale. Please check your front end to make to ensure it supports this edition. Editions 15 and 16 have the same cards, but 16 is soulbound and cannot be combined with edition 15. And another note is that for some of you old timers who are used to the burning mechanism, you can burn cards and get various things out of them. However, with these cards, if you burn them, you're not getting anything out of them. So don't burn them, basically. That's the takeaway there. Okay, let's jump back into chat and see what people are talking about. Gathering says, only going for 2 of the 3 rewards per day in Frontier. I don't win enough. Well, I won't be able to get any of the rewards because I haven't won at all. To tell you the truth, I spent about an hour playing the other day, and it was just one loss after another. Of course, I'm not used to the new cards yet, and I'm not the greatest player anyway. So, but I do love new cards, and getting used to them is, even back in the day when we were playing in bronze, we were hitting our head against the wall saying, I can't get out of bronze. So we're back in the same situation. But I think the popularity, back to the sticking point, is that we finally have cards that we can actually sell and not be soulbound, because, there was abuse of it and there was a reason why it went away. I'm just glad to see that, that it's been brought back in a certain limited fashion, right? And people are, it's popular. Let's see here. Lady Sharon says, on Frontier, I tend to have streaks now, really long losing streaks, and then I'll win like 7 out of 10. Interesting. Hey, Joffrey Jones is in the house. Welcome, Joffrey. Foundation packs are down to $2. I have not bought any foundation packs. I did see a little bit of a discussion going on that people were buying packs and being able to basically resell the cards for a decent amount, which is like the intended thing. Obviously every pack's not going to be able to be resold for more than what you paid for the pack, but in some cases, if you get, that lucky pack. I saw one pack that was like $75 worth of cards out of a $2 pack, so, those are just the one in a million packs or whatever, but it's interesting to see. OFG Plays is in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Bananas is here. Says the API calls the mode foundation. Okay. So, was I wrong? No, it's called Frontier. Okay. So, I think that they just need to, I thought that, the mode was Frontier, but the card set was Foundation. And they need to straighten that out, because this is very, I understand why they changed the name, because it was, what was it, Standard or something like that, but everybody voted on it. We liked it, but two F words referring to basically the same set, and I guess one's the set and one's the mode you're playing in. So, but it's still very confusing. That's kind of like Midnight Potions and Nightmare. For some reason, I want to call them Nightmare, but Lady Sharon says API. Yeah, API is how they. It's a coding thing. It's well, not really a coding thing. It's how things are connected, and the games are connected, and services are connected in the background to games. And I'm, like I said, I'm not a developer, but it's a way you can, like we're talking about Monster Market or Peak Monsters, how they connect to Splinterlands to get the information for the cards and your account and such, to be able to buy and sell cards on their services. It's connected with something that's called an API. And this is not a coding course, because I'm not a coder, but I do know enough to know that's how it's connected. Okay, Gathering the Magic says, OFG, hello, how is Frontier going for your account? It's programming nerd talk. Yeah. Ghostly BG's in the house. Welcome, Ghostly. Thanks for taking a minute and dropping by. Appreciate it. Gathering says, eventually, Foundation cards will be able to be burnt for raffle draws, so they will always have some value. Yeah, I mean, there's value in them. It's just that I think at a certain point, here's how card sets go, right? And if you've been playing for any amount of time, you know this. Okay, so the value and price, well, value and price are two different things, but the price of the cards is up high at the very beginning when there's a low liquidity. And as there becomes more liquidity on the market, the price generally goes down. Obviously, there's going to be a few outliers. There's going to be some very popular cards within the set, and those are going to maintain their value or their price. Value is related to play or what it brings to your account, right? How much value it brings to your account. Price is how much it costs you to get that, right? The price is up at the beginning and kind of slowly trails off. There's going to be a few cards that maintain that higher price point because they're the strongest cards in the set. And after that, the rest of them kind of go down, right? Gradually put, right? I think they've found a good way to kind of moderate that with Rebellion and Conclave Arcana. But generally speaking, I think the more cards that are on the market, the cost is going to go down, But it's good that they have some intended purpose for them that they can be burnt for, because this whole, especially for people who are relatively new to Web3 games, there's this whole burning mechanism that allows you to basically get rid of something, but get something in return. And in a lot of cases, like, let's go to my items. If I go to my card collection, let's clear this. And let's say I go to, let's just go Untamed cards. And let's just go to a Tortesian Fighter. Now, if I took this card and I selected it, and if I wanted to burn it, I could convert this to dark energy crystals, to DEC, right? So I could say that, and if I burned this one copy of this card, I could get 10 DEC out of it, right? Well, you can't do that with the new Frontier modes, obviously. Now, let's go back to something a little bit newer than Untamed, And let's just go to Conclave Arcana, right? Let's say this. Let's say I didn't have any use for this gold foil Vicious Giraffe. Well, that's more than one copy there. Let's do this, and I wanted to burn it. This would only be worth 5 dark energy crystals, and so forth. It just depends upon what you're burning. Like the gladiator cards. Well, this is a level 7, but gladiator cards can only be burned for merits and so forth. So if we go into just on the topic here, foundations cards, and I tried to burn this, see, there's no burn. You can't actually burn them here. However, in other places like Monster Market or Peak Monsters, there is various ways where a person could actually turn around and burn them on accident and not get anything out of them. Banana says, I meant like if you look at the back end nerd stuff. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a nerd. I like talking about that kind of stuff, but it's generally if you're not into programming or you don't need to connect your application to somebody else's application or service, then you're not familiar with what API calls are. So it does, you have to keep those secure, otherwise it could lead to an insecure. I'm not going to dig into that, but because it's boring to a lot of people here. Gathering says, you looking at someone's back end? No. Been happily married for 30 plus years, so. Bananas laughs. OFG Play says, Gathering, it's been awesome. I think I've leveled up 2 Archons so far. Just with the DEC earned from Foundation card sales. Oh, I'm glad some people are having a good luck with it. Gathering says, nice. Still trying to get Archons for my alts. I've opened a ton of daily draws on my accounts and I rarely get one. Well, Foundations, Archons. I have one of each. And that's probably, I don't know. Probably because I played through the campaign. Lady Sharon says, well, I'm glad that I got my first 2 sets of Foundation cards before they did the lock, because I was able to sell some of them and none of my cards from that set are locked. Yeah, well, yeah, we could go, it's just one of those things that has been abused in the past in this game. And, the topic has come up in another game I play, Atlas Earth, lately, is that any time, part of the work of developing and keeping one of these games going where you can make money is that there's always going to be a portion of the population who's looking to abuse the game and get as much free money off of it as possible. And if you look back at the changes that have been made to this game over the last 7 years, a large portion of those changes are trying to keep up with or keep ahead of these manipulations, with the overall goal of just keeping the game going so people can play, and the company, they can make their paychecks and keep the game going, stay interested in it. But you've got people that don't give a shit, right? Sorry for the French, but I know it's not French, but they don't care. They're just out for their own means, and if it means $5 more for them, they don't care about the abuse. So that's why a lot of these changes come into play, and I can understand it. It's just, I almost get, after playing the game for so long, I almost get tired of it. It's just like, something happens and then they announce a change and they're like, oh, let me guess, somebody else abused the system, right? Sorry, getting up on my soapbox, right? Let's see here. Karen's here. Hello, all. happy Saturday to you as well, Karen. Thanks for dropping by. Banana says, if new players come in, the set values don't go down as quickly. If they have that, this time it might be different. Those weekly drawings will last 2 years. Well, yeah, that's the overall goal, right, is getting more people in. Just looking at my ambassador status, I got a couple extra referrals that came in this past week, so I'm doing my part. Let's see here. What's everybody saying? Lady Sharon says, "Oh, and I got due to a glitch. I went through the campaign as a light. Then I bought the spell book and let me go through the campaign again." Yeah, I mean, it's a glitch. A glitch is a glitch, but what we're talking about is people who already have hundreds or thousands of accounts and then went in and logged into each account and played through the campaign on each account. Now, whether they did it manually or they're supposed to do it manually, but by bot, I wouldn't put it past anybody. People will abuse these games any way they can. But that's nothing new. I mean, since the advent of game, people have been cheating. Even when it doesn't yield any money, people will be cheating. Aim bots and first-person shooters and such. Don't get me started. Get me on my gray beard rant. I've always tried to play fair. Lady Sharon goes on to say, I think burning is pointless. If you can sell the card for more, of course, people actually have to be buying. Yeah, well, that's the whole point. The whole point is that if the cards are not selling for more, then if you have extra copies, you can burn them. It is better for the whole game because then there are less copies of that card available. So overall, the prices should go up on that card because there are fewer copies available. But on a personal standpoint, especially when you don't have a whole lot of cards in your deck, it's always better to sell. Sometimes they have events where you can burn cards, getting a certain amount of points and get in on a drawing or something like that. And a lot of times that was aimed at reducing huge amounts of cards, especially with Chaos Legion, that were on the market. Because we, not to get into this too far, because a lot of us players who've been around for a while know this, but Chaos Legion was a set, and this is a great set. It was a very big set. But it was also massively overprinted because they had going in the pre-sale before Chaos Legion. They had massive buy so many packs and get a bunch of extra packs for free, that kind of thing. And people took them up on it, But that led to a huge amount of cards being on the market. And there's a lot of changes, and I'm kind of simplifying it, right? Because there's been a lot of changes since then, right? Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I just wanted to provide that kind of context for people who are relatively new. Sharon says, I think, yeah, I already said that. OFG Play says, congrats on the 30 years of marriage, brother. Oh, well, thank you. It's not easy sometimes. Not that I'm the person to give out advice. I'm not perfect. It's a team job or a teamwork. Gathering says, wife and I just celebrated our 25th. Well, congratulations. Go celebrate. We passed our 25th and it was right around COVID somewhere, and we wanted to go on a trip or something or other, and then we're like, oh, we'll do it after the COVID thing, and it just never happened. So now we're past 30 years and we still haven't taken a trip or gone on any vacation or anything. So, yeah, well, it is what it is. OFG Plays says almost 11 years with his wife. Congratulations. Gathering says, remember the golden rule of marriage. If mama is happy, everyone is happy. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Yeah, if daddy isn't happy, nobody cares. That's for sure. Gathering, OFG Play says, gathering, I've been buying Conclave Arcana Archons with the DEC earned from Foundation mode. Don't think I specified that earlier. And Gathering agrees, I am doing that as well. Slow going, but getting there. Hey, you know what time it is? It's a time I look forward to every week. I am going to go to the shop and I am going to buy a card pack to open up my weekly Alchemy card pack. And let's buy it with credits. So cross your fingers for me. Send me a little bit of luck. I could use a little bit extra power on my my wagons. Gathering says, thinking of putting some Foundation card profits into land workers. Interesting. Okay, so I've got enough potions. Let's go ahead and open this pack. See what happens. Didn't have a really great pack. Oh, look at that, baby. Look at that. Right off the bat. My cursor was right on a legendary. I was just saying my pack last week wasn't that great. Okay. Would you look at that? Would you look at that, people? Would you look at that? Okay, this is a pack that has got an epic gold foil, a legendary, and another epic in it. What can I say? Let's open the regular cards first. Another Caravan Guard and a Conclave Tracker. Okay. Okay, cross your fingers. Let's see. Let's do the epic. And it is an epic gold foil. So this pack has 2 epic gold foils in it and a legendary. So we know what this is. Epic gold foil. So it's an Abyssal Elemental. I'm not familiar with this. Okay, so Resurgent self-resurrects once per battle with 100% health and armor. All magic debuffs are removed and all magic buffs are reapplied. Skips turn. Deals 1 physical damage to all units. I like this. I like it. And all that for 6 mana? I'm going to have to think about that and think about some combos for that. And then we have Umbral Elemental, which has Taunt and Speed. And here we go. Here's the legendary. Oh, I was hoping for another gold foil. I was hoping for a 3 gold foil pack. Okay, we have Zargrul, which is an 8 mana legendary water card with 1 armor, just enough to take that 1 hit, right? 11 health and 3 speed, 1 magic damage, and taunt. So I'll tell you what, that is pretty much the definition of a great pack, right? Now, if that legendary was a gold foil, I would say that was the definition of an awesome pack. But this is a definition of a great pack right here. In fact, I got to leave it up a few more seconds just to look at it for a minute. Oh, Gathering wants me to drop this in Discord. Okay. Going to take a second here and drop this in Discord. Okay, dropped it in Discord. Man, that is a good pack. I've been waiting on a good pack for a few weeks. I like that Abyssal Elemental too, and you can see this is kind of going towards just discussing briefly for the new players here. One of the benefits of the gold foils is, other than getting extra glint and SPS when you win with a gold foil, they do start out at a higher level. They don't start out at level 1. You can see that this starts out at they start out at level 2. So, and sometimes level 3, depending upon the rarity. So let's go back to items. Actually, you know what I want to do? Since I've done that, let's go over to my conflicts, because I want to update my wagons. Okay, so I'm currently at 141, 275. Let's autofill. Let's see what I can come up to. Not bad. Up to 145, 275. So that cycled in some of those new cards I got, plus probably the dragon is here somewhere. See, there's one of my new cards right there. There's the new card I got right there. Actually, I don't see the dragon. I don't know. I have to search for it. I don't know why the dragon isn't staked there. Let's look at items, just out of curiosity. I have to remember to do my land claim and cycle in that new card I bought later on. Let's go to reset. Let's go to Conclave Arcana and promo. No, it's not a promo. What would that dragon be under? Oh, it's standard Conclave Arcana set, and it is a legendary. Oh, here it is. Zerx the Emberglaze. Doesn't have too good a production, only 68. Oh well. Let's jump back into chat. I kind of lost track with that pack, what everybody was saying. Let's scroll back up. OFG Play says that he's got a land update coming soon. Lady Sharon says, hey, I just got a notification of an Atlas Earth video from you. I guess you have it on automatic upload. Yeah, my videos, what I do is I generally record at night after work, before dinner, and then I post after dinner once I get done editing. They go live for the members of my channel, and then the next day at noon, they go live for everybody else. So if you would like the first take on my episodes and want to see them early, join and become a Dragonflight member. That's my little promo. But yeah, and then they generally go live at noon the next day for everybody. So yeah, my wagons ended up going up by about 4,000 points. Does anybody know what's the mandatory for guaranteed in this draw? I'd have to go look it up, but let me know if you know right offhand. Oh, you know, something, I think something OFG Plays said reminded me something. I am looking forward to the new cards they're working on to work on for land. So if you didn't know, there's a new card set. It's not, I mean, it is a set, but it's only going to be like 5 cards. And if you are a landowner, you're going to be able to make these cards out of a certain combination of different resources, and then they are not going to be for play in game, but they're going to have bonuses for you to put them on your land, basically. I'm really looking forward to that. Haven't seen any really hard information on that just yet, other than they're coming soon, right? Paul Taylor says, is the F on your shirt for Frontier? No, it's for Fever, Indianapolis Fever. Been enjoying watching Caitlin Clark and her teammates play. It's been I'm not generally a ball player or a ball watcher watching sports, but you know, I'm an old timer. I used to like watching basketball, and when there were some great players playing, and not to say that the current crop of players, it's just nobody was as fun to watch like Larry Bird or something like that. But whenever I watch Caitlin Clark on the field, the court, even though it's the WNBA, you know, she can do some crazy stuff. Anyway, the F is for Fever. And I'm from Indianapolis, so there you go. Gathering says that card is overpowered in bronze. The one I was talking about, yeah. Wibble says Resurgence is nice with the Poison Dragon Summoner. Let's go back and take a look at that for a minute. So let's reset and let's go to Archons. And yeah, is the Poison Dragon Summoner the legendary? Because it's way too expensive. I don't have one of those. Let's look on the market. Yeah. Yeah, if I wanted one to play with my gold foil deck, that would be $105. No. So I can understand how that would work because it automatically comes back every round. So pretty cool though. Pretty cool. Okay, jumping back into chat after I take a little drink here. Gathering says, I'm thinking of making a video on the benefits of gold foil and Frontier. I wonder if the land worker cards will get their own slot on land or if they go in one for... I'm betting they don't get their own slot, but who knows? And will they take DEC to stake? I'm betting they do. Everything, unless you've already have the max, you know. So, in other words, if you already have your 50,000 staked out for the region, for some reason that word escaped me, then you probably won't have to stake anything extra. But if you have lower, then you're going to have to stake out for whatever the power is. They're not going to get around that. Wibble asks, gold foil get bonus in Frontier? 850 is the new conflict number. Okay, thanks. So you need 850 to get a... I should be able to hit that. Yeah, my end estimate is over 1,000, so I should be able to hit that. Lady Sharon says, I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to win or buy the land cards, and then they would give like bonuses to land or something. Okay, well, you will be able to buy them if somebody makes the cards and then sells them on the market. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't allow you to sell them. I don't see why they would want you to... I don't know. Have they mentioned anything about the land cards being soulbound? That seems kind of counterintuitive for what land is about, being able to make things to sell them. You know, it would seem to me like if I was I am a landholder, if I made one of those cards, I should have the choice to either put them on my land or to sell them on the market. So I think you will be able to sell them unless somebody knows differently than me, has heard them talk about that. But they do, the purpose is, since they won't be playable in matches, the purpose is to have workers for your land that will give a bonus. It sort of seems to me like an extra sort of totem. And I don't know what kind of bonuses they're going to give. Like, I assume that each card will be good for something or other. Like a card will be good, like plus percentage to grain production, and then hopefully you can level up those cards, and if you level up the cards, then your production bonus goes up. That would be nice. I'm just kind of speculating there. Wilbur says, okay, thought they might be funky for the burn thing. Gathering says, wonder also if the land worker cards will take research to unlock. I'm guessing that they will take, I've got a fly in here. I'm guessing that they'll take aura. Of course, I don't know because they haven't listed. I'm guessing they will take aura, and I'm guessing they will take a certain amount of each of the different resource. If they require research, who knows? You were speculating on that I say the other day, but it was a couple weeks ago when you did that video. But it'll be interesting. I don't have a whole lot of research left, but you know, the whole idea is to give aura extra uses, I guess. And there's another part of your question there, Gathering, that I'm wondering. It says, wonder also if the land worker cards will take research to unlock. You said that, but you put unlock in quote things. I would hope that if I spent my aura and the rest of my resources to create a card, that it wasn't locked. I would hope. Like the rest of this stuff that you make with aura, you can sell on the market, like potions and wagon repair kits and things like this. That's the whole point to having land and making this stuff, is that they're not locked, that you can turn around and make a profit with it. Otherwise, why would I be spending all this money on land? Lady Sharon says, and of course you mentioned bonus as well as I'm typing, but the point is I would want to be able to get them some other way. Well, the whole point, I think, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we could throw out a lot of speculation. Could they throw them into chests? Maybe. Could they put them into other draws? Maybe. Who knows? But I think the idea is, since they're land cards, specifically for land, that I don't think they would put them in the other main chests for the main play of the game, because say, for instance, you're just playing a game, just playing cards, and you get a chest and you get a land card and you're not a land player, then it would have no value whatsoever for you unless you just sold it on the market. So, but once again, all of this is speculation. They've just talked like hints and, you know, just briefly about this. So we're just speculating, right, at this point. Gathering says, Max Frontier Gold Foil, 5 copies for common, 4 copies for rare is all you need, not 60 and 25. And will we get to pick the land worker we want and the rarity, or will it be random? I hope that we can. My hope is that you could pick what you wanted to combine to produce. So, for instance, each different type of card would take different materials. And that's the way you would pick it. That's my hope. I hope that it's not random. That would be crappy. Say for instance, just, you know, just guessing here. Say they created a land card draw, just like the others in the store, right? And then you had to have a certain combination of elements or resources to buy one land card draw. And then you did that, and then you got one you didn't need. Now, I guess to combat that, if you could turn around and sell that on the market, then that may make it worthwhile. Because say, for instance, I don't need, you know, a card to, you know, I don't have any stone producing lands. I get one with a bonus for stone. I don't need it. I can turn around and sell it. I would much prefer there being a different set. Okay, you need this much grain, wood, stone, iron, research. And there had to be a difference for each card to designate exactly which card. Or maybe they were all the same and had the same requirements. It's just you went and you picked which one you want. I would hope so. But who knows? We'll have to wait to see what Cryptomancer has to say on that. And the rest of the team who are, you know, affecting the balancing of the cards. Sharon says, I hope that they add some stuff that we can make without aura or vouchers. Well, that's the whole point to the land. That's how the land has evolved to this point. Not so much vouchers. Vouchers are earned in vouchers are basically earned by staking SPS. As you stake more SPS, you earn more SPS, but you also earn a small amount of vouchers. Okay, I didn't like the fact that they created the whole voucher system when it first started. I felt that our two tokens, DEC and SPS, were enough, and adding any extra was just going to hurt the system. That's an argument for a different day. But as far as creating the actual cards, we'll have to see. I mean, it's obviously specifically for people who are interested in the land game. There's a lot of people that play the card game and just aren't interested in the land game. So, yeah. OFG Play says, I was wondering the randomness of the land card as well. Yeah, we'll have to wait for more information. Whenever a hard set of information comes out, then obviously I'll do a video on it because I'm really interested in it. I'm sure all of us will who do videos. Gathering says, I haven't heard anything about the land workers being soulbound. I think that won't be. Well, that would be counterintuitive to what, producing things from the actual land is, Wibble says, land cards will be sellable, I think. But if there's a beaver one, I'm not selling, so sorry. You're going to be the, yeah. I think that the beaver one would go with Earth, right? So Wibble would be the hoarder of the beaver cards, the corner of the market on beaver cards, so to speak. I'd have to have a gold foil. And obviously, there you go. You're going to have the cards for land. Are there going to be gold foil versions? Are there going to be black foil versions? Inquiring minds want to know. Gathering says, Beaver card gives random 50% wood bonus, but also 50% chance of eating all your wood for harvest. Yeah, I'm going to say, wouldn't a beaver give you minus 50% wood production? If you're trying to grow wood, wouldn't putting beavers in that area be counterintuitive to that purpose? Those pesky beavers. Crypto Beaver says, I'm getting a beaver for sure. You guys have been talking about a beaver for years, and they still haven't brought one out. What's up with them? They've brought so many different weird creatures. You'd think they could slip you a beaver. Gathering says, anyone making a beaver legendary archon? I could see it. I know there will be different rarities of land workers, so wondered how you get the legendary ones other than luck in crafting. I mean, you could craft them. I mean, they could also sell packs, right? What do you think? A land pack for 5 cards, at least one rare, as they always go, with a possibility of gold foils and legendaries and epics, but it costs $25 or something like that. I don't know. Just spitballing. Wibble says black foil beaver has a nice ring to it. Lady Sharon says, oh, shoot now. It's just about the end, and your statement reminded me. I saw some proposal that came up about changing staking because they think that they're going to run out of SPS in the next 6 months. There's been so many proposals that have come up. Survival tests. No. Yeah. We're getting close to the end. I haven't seen, they're not running out of SPS. Okay. So we are on the downside of the release of the SPS. If you read the DAO white paper, SPS, there's only a certain amount of SPS ever to be printed, and more than half of it has been released at this point, and I don't have the numbers handy to tell you about that. So that's not like an emergency. But as we go down the next few years, anybody know how many years we got left? On the SPS release, it's like 3 years. But after that, what's released is going to be all, right? And what's going to happen, in theory, not investment advice. In theory, SPS, depending upon if we get more if and when we keep getting more players into the system, there's going to be more of a call for SPS. And I'm looking forward to the possibility of, SPS going up in value, and then at some point going fractional like Bitcoin. So instead of getting a whole SPS, you might get a half or something like that. That's a future thing. So no, I have not seen anything related to running out of SPS in the next 6 months. Lady Sharon goes on to say, I'm not sure I understood what they were saying. Anybody out there know? Hey, Lady Sharon, if you get, if you can find what you're talking about, shoot me a link in our Discord. I have my own Discord. Just shoot me a link in the Splinterlands chat, and I'll take a look at it and make a statement on that. Kane is here. Welcome, Kane. Says, do you guys still give away spell books or accounts with spell books even with no cards? I really need one. Gathering says, contact Blaze or the team in Discord. Someone can get you one. I didn't know they gave away spell books. Gathering says, the team is pretty cool about helping new players. Welcome to a great community. We need to stop giving away SPS if we want the price to go up. In-game burn mechanism will get us a higher SPS price. Wibble says, staked SPS is due to run out November. I think there will be a proposal soon. Is it that early? We are right at the end of the SPS. I didn't think we were. I thought we still had. I thought the midway point was last August. And then we had a couple more years of the availability of SPS. Now, are you talking about the overall drop of SPS? The initial allotment, whatever it was, 3 billion, or I don't know. I don't know the number. Or are you talking about some other thing? I guess I'm not on board with it. I would have to read what you guys were talking about. Lady Sharon says, well, I thought the idea of staking SPS was something similar to getting interest, and also you can convert SPS to DEC. I don't know. I am starting to analyze this, and that would get me off on target. Yeah, you'll have to shoot me. I'll have to read exactly what you're talking about because there's different things being talked about here. Yeah, Gathering says, I think we have a couple more years of SPS for ranked battles. Just staked SPS reward pools overall. There's more left. Yeah, I'd have to read what you're talking about. But here's the thing about this game is the fact that that's what the DAO votes on, right? And the DAO controls. The DAO is a separate organization that controls SPS from the actual Splinterlands organization, which is the team that controls the game and how it goes. So if you have SPS staked, then you have a vote to be able to vote on how that SPS is used, okay? So that's why I have to say I have to read through exactly what you're talking about because there could be a number of different things that we're discussing, right? At sometimes things change. Different, like you can see proposals and draft proposals up here on a weekly basis, and they're changing things around, and that's why they're all voted on. Now, largely, the vote is controlled by the big dogs that hold the most SPS, but they bought the SPS, so they have the right to vote, right? So I don't think we're in any risk of running out of SPS because I think there's still a couple years left on it. But like Wibble said, there may be an impending change of reward pools or something like that. But like I said, shoot me a link and I'll read through it, and so we can be on the same page. because obviously people want the SPS to, the drop to continue whenever you're playing game. It gives you a benefit to playing the game, right? Now, at a certain point, that what you get out of playing the game, it'll fluctuate, the SPS you get, and hopefully the value goes up or the price goes up on the token. So, okay, we are at the bottom of the half hour. I want to say thank you for dropping by, and it was a great conversation in episode 130, 2023, 123. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. Have a great week. And once again, this is Bronze Dragon saying, I will see you in Splinterlands.